Hello guys, welcome back to another video. Today we'll be looking at part 2 of energy. So first, in this video we'll be looking at keywords related to this topic. So the keywords we'll be looking at this topic are conductor, energy, insulator, internal energy, ion, kinetic energy, molecule, potential difference, rate, specific heat capacity, thermal conductivity, thermal energy, and vibrations. So a conductor is a material which allows charge to move easily through it. 2. Energy is the capacity for doing work. Insulator. An insulator is a material that does not allow charge or heat to pass through it easily. So it's the opposite of a conductor. Internal energy. Internal energy is the total kinetic energy and potential energy of the particles in an object. Ion. Ion is an electrically charged particle formed when an atom or molecule gains or loses electrons. 6. Kinetic energy. It is the energy which an object possesses by being in motion. For example, when a cycle is moving or a car is moving, it has kinetic energy. Molecule. A molecule is a collection of two or more atoms held together by chemical bonds. Potential difference or voltage. The potential difference of a supply is the measure of energy given to charge carriers in a circuit. So units of this is volts. Rate. Rate is per unit time or per second. 10. Specific heat capacity. Specific heat capacity is the amount of energy needed to raise the temperature of 1 kilogram of substance by 1 degree. We looked at this in the last video, so be sure to check it out. Which is energy part 1. 11. Thermal conductivity is a measure of how well a material conducts energy when it's heated. 12. Thermal energy is heat energy. Vibrations. Vibrations is repeated movements back and forth around about a fixed point. So now we'll be looking at part 2 of keywords. So first one is energy resource, is a useful supply or store of energy. Number 2, energy store. There's different ways in which energy can be stored, including chemical, kinetic, gravitational potential, GP, elastic potential, energy, EP, and thermal stores. Finite. Finite is something that has limited number of use before it's depleted. For example, oil is a finite source. Fossil fuel is a natural finite fuel formed from the remains of living organisms, e.g. coal, oil, and natural gas. Number 5, geothermal energy is energy from the heat of the earth. Number 6, gravitational potential energy is the energy stored by an object lifted up against the force of gravity, also known as GPE. Hydroelectric energy is energy that is generated by the movement of water and waves. Hydroelectric energy is also known as wave energy. 8. Infrastructure is the basic structures needed for an area to function, for example, roads and comms. Number 9. Nuclear fuel are radioactive materials, usually uranium, plutonium, used in nuclear reactors, and they produce energy as well, just like fossil fuels. Number 10. Radioactive is when unstable atoms give off particles that can be harmful to humans. 11. Renewable is energy sources that replenish and not exhaust, e.g. solar power. 12. Water cycle, the continuous movement of water on, above, and below the earth. So now we'll be looking at efficiency. So devices are designed to waste as little energy as possible. This means as much of the input energy as possible should be transferred into useful energy stores. So useful energy stores. So non-useful energy stores are heat and things like that. It is in turn a ratio of energies or power, so it has no unit. It is usually written efficiency is usually written as a decimal percentage. How good a device is that transfer energy input to useful energy is called efficiency. A very efficient device will waste very little of its input energy. A very inefficient device will waste most of its input energy. So the formula for efficiency is useful energy transfer divided by total energy supply. Energy resources. Energy is needed in homes for cooking, heating, and running appliances, public services, schools, hospitals, running machinery, and warming rooms and heaters, factories and farms, operating heavy duty machines and production chains, transport, in buses, trains, cars, and other vehicles. Systems that can store large amounts of energy are called energy resources. The major energy resources available to produce electricity are fossil fuels, nuclear fuels, biofuel, which is a plant-based fuel, wind power, hydroelectricity, geothermal, tidal, water waves, and sun. Ultimately, all the energy on Earth originally comes from the sun but has been stored as different energy sources. Also remember, energy can't be created or destroyed. It just keeps transferring between different energy resources. So here's some different energy resources and some. So fossil fuels, they're chemical energy store. They're non-renewable. The uses of them are transport, heat, and electricity generation. The power output is very high. The environmental impact is related to CO2, which causes global warming. So if we move down one, nuclear fuels is nuclear energy store. They're non-renewable. The electricity generation is a use. The power output is very high, but the environmental impact is that it produces radioactive waste which need to be disposed of safely. Biofuel is chemical energy store. It's renewable. Transport, heating, and electricity generation are its uses. Power output is medium, and it has very low impact on the environment, and it's plant-based. Wind is kinetic energy store, renewable, uses our electricity generation. It has very low power output, and the environmental impact it takes up large areas which could be used for farmings, and people say they're an eyesore. Hydroelectricity, it's energy stored gravitational potential energy. So renewable, yes, it's renewable. Uses are that are electricity generation as well. Its power output is medium. Local habitats are affected by the large areas that need to be flooded to build dams. So hydroelectricity is dams. Geothermal is thermal energy or internal energy. It is renewable. It uses electricity generation and heat, and it is medium as well. And the environmental impact is very low. Tides, they have kinetic energy store. They're renewable. They're used for electricity generation. The power output can be very high, but it's hard to harness because you can't control the tides. Environmental impact is that they can block sewages which needs to go out to sea. So the sun is a nuclear energy store. Yes, it's renewable. The uses are electricity generation, heat, and heating. The power output depends on the weather and only available during daylight. So environmental impact is very little. But in some places, the sun energy can be really, really useful, especially in really hot climates and countries near the tropics. Water. So, last one is water wave. The energy store is kinetic and it's renewable. The uses of it are electricity generation. The power output is very low, and the environmental impact is very low. So, what we can come to a conclusion is that most non-renewable resources of energy have very high power output. That's why we use fossil fuels a lot because they have a very high power output and very easy to use. On the other hand, the renewable energy resources have less energy output and for some cases like tides and sun, it's we're not sure whether it's high or low. It could be really high, could be really low. So it's not stable. But for the other things, as long as you have supply of them, it's stable. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like to my video and subscribe to my channel. And look out for my other videos.